Good day, ma'am. I'm Wilfredo Lanos. I'm the reporter of this topic, and shall we start?
Think of a person in your life with whom you work least well. He or she may have been someone you knew in the past or someone you work with now. So you may use the least preferred coworker or LPC scaled by Fiedler 1967. For example are pairs of words which are opposites such as very neat and not neat, and between each pair of words are 8 blanks to form a scale. If you think of him or her as being quiet neat, you would put an X in the space mark. So 1 is the least descripted preferred coworker, and 8 is the most descripted of the least preferred coworker. As we all know, situation favorability depends on the characteristic of situation. For example, in highly favorable situation, it was found as predicted by Fiedler's theory that low LPC or less preferred coworker leaders outperformed high LPC leader was still above the mean, which is consistent with the idea of mismatch, that organization with the ability or interest in situational engineering might consider just trying to make all leader situation highly favorable. Next is the path goal theory. The role of the leader is to help his/her subordinates become successful. It states that the leader must be able to adapt his or her leadership to be successful. House proposed that a leader must be capable of utilizing the 4 leadership styles. These are directive leadership, supportive leadership, achievement-oriented relations, and participative leadership.
Directed leadership. When you say directive, the subordinates know what they are supposed to be doing. Perhaps the leader should clarify the task responsibilities. Example of directive leadership is a leader who meets with subordinates once a week to give out work assignments. Next is supportive leadership. This aims at showing concern and caring for subordinates. Example of this is leader who makes it a point to ask about a subordinate's sick child, exhibiting supportive leadership. Next is achievement-oriented leadership. This aims at helping employees to improve their performance and ultimately perform better. A leader such as providing on-the-job coaching, settings, challenging goals, making sure the training and development opportunities are available, and the seeing to it that subordinates have the reason to be successful is exhibiting this form of leadership style. Lastly is participative leadership. This aims at getting the input of subordinates on work-related matter. A leader who regularly seeks the input of subordinates before making important decisions exhibiting this form of leadership.
Next theory is path goal theory. It proposed that leaders should consider 2 situational factors when they are deciding on the appropriate leadership style. Number 1 is the characteristic of one's subordinates and the characteristic of the work environment. With the characteristic to the subordinate, there are 2 case factors that a leader must consider are perceived ability and personality. In perceived ability, what would be the most appropriate leadership style for subordinates who perceive themselves as having limited job abilities? For these subordinates, a leader would probably need to be quiet, directive, because these individuals likely would want to know exactly what to do. The second subordinate characteristic that leaders need I consider when deciding leadership style is personality. This is obviously a broad category, but one personality trait the path goal theory deems important is subordinate locus of control. According to Reuter, 1996, locus control reflects relatively stable individual differences in beliefs regarding control of external reinforcement. A person with internal locus of control believes that he or she has a great deal of control over reinforcement. On the other hand, persons with external locus of control believe that reinforcement in their life happen due to lack faith powerful people. In addition, with respect to the characteristic of the work environment, one of the path goal theory is prevailing norms regarding authority and leadership within an organization. This is really an aspect of organization, cultures, and reflex. The practical implication of path goal theory come primarily in the era of management and training. Specifically, managers need to be trained to organize differences among their subordinates, as well as aspects of work environment, and have to learn the different leadership style. Thank you.
Let's go to Newton Hago model. This theory focuses on providing leaders with a set of guidelines for decision-making style to adapt. The table 0.0 shows about the decision-making styles proposed by the Newton-Jago model of leadership. A1 when the leader makes the decision alone after considering the relevant information. ALL in when a leader makes the decision after obtaining relevant information directly from subordinates. CI is when a leader shares a problem with each subordinate individually and then makes that one decision. On the other hand, CTI is when leader shares the portion with subordinates as group then makes a decision alone. Lastly, GII, the decision is made the group conscious from a viewpoint. The Newton-Jago model is one of the useful leadership theories has been developed. This model provides leaders with some specific guidelines for making decisions rather than merely describing leaders' processes. Next model is leader-member exchange theory. Before it was developed with named vertical yard linkage model, before of it emphasized on the unique relationship between leaders and subordinates. It eventually became leader-member exchange. This relationship is really one that reflects social exchange between the leader and subordinates. According to Dan Seru, within groups, there are eight typically two sets out of employees, namely the in the group, out of the group. The group consists of employees have the desire to assume greater level of responsibility and simply get along with the leader. Members out of groups consist of type of subordinates who have more formal relationship with the leader. So it's as usefully develop positive exchange relationship with the subordinate.
Last model of contingency theory is charismatic and transformational leadership. The idea of charismatic and transformational leadership is that there are certain leader behaviors and traits that not only influence subordinates but may also inspire them to perform well beyond their capabilities. Another, both have potential to induce meaningful change in the organization. Transformational leadership is the one of who makes sure that subordinates get the job done and follows the rules of organization. However, do not inspire subordinates or facilitate meaningful change. The attributes of charismatic or transformational leader are mission and vision implementation. Vision is a generalized idea state that typically represents shared values and often has moral overtones, and vision implementation added by leader being able to clearly articulate his or her own vision. Example, giving cannot be implemented if subordinates do not know what it is. The major practical Implication of charismatic and transformational leadership appear to be in the selection and assessment of leaders, that this organization may wish to identify individuals who have the potential to be charismatic or transformational leaders. I guess this is all from my report. Thank you for listening and good afternoon once again.